minister of I think so. Yeah. Is everything okay?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our fifth post-cabinet press briefing for 2025. To lead us in our deliberations, let me invite the Honorable Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Nswere, who is the chair of these sessions, to give us today's cabinet highlights. Over to you, Minister.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. Thank you, members of the Fourth Estate. Cabinet received the report on food security for the 2024-2025 summer season, which was presented by the Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Honorable Dr. A.J. Masuka. The current grain stock at the Grain Marketing Board is enough to meet the demands of rural communities until the next harvest, which is expected in April 2025. Grain stocks are currently at 129,000 metric tons, and Government of Zimbabwe continues to monitor the imports, the stocks at millers, import prices and import sources in order to eliminate arbitrage opportunities. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development has set up 214 surveillance traps for African armyworm, whose outbreak is the worst in 20 years across the country. All districts now have chemicals for standby reaction to this particular pest. 60 trucks, one for each district, have been purchased in order to timely respond to this menace and to be better prepared going forward. Additionally, 639,000 knapsack sprayers have also been distributed to beneficiaries in terms of the Presidential Input Scheme. Cabinet considered and approved the national priorities for the National Development Strategy 2, January 2026 to December 2030, which is the NDS2, as presented by the Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion. The National Development Strategy 1, 2021 to 2025, which is the NDS1, will come to an end in December 2025. As such, the National Development Strategy 2, which will run from 2026 to 2030, will be the Second Republic's second 5-year mid-term plan for attaining the country's Vision 2030. The government of Zimbabwe has now adopted 10 national priorities that will guide and underpin the formulation and implementation of the National Development Strategy 2 blueprint as follows: macroeconomic stability and financial sector deepening, inclusive economic growth and structural transformation, infrastructural development and housing, food security, climate resilience and environmental protection, technology, innovation and human capital development, job creation, youth development, creative industry and culture, social development and social protection, regional development and inclusivity through devolution and decentralization, image building, international diplomacy and trade, and good governance, institution building, and security. The streamlined national priorities are geared to optimize resource allocation and strengthen sectoral coordination for effective and impactful delivery of services to the citizenry. A broad-based consultative process will buttress thematic working group realignment across the different socio-economic sectors, leading to the actual drafting and launch of the National Development Strategy 2 by October 2025. Cabinet considered and approved the compendium for the first 100-day cycle projects for 2025, which was presented by the Minister of State for National Security, Honorable Lavmo Matuke. The first 100-day cycle is running from the 3rd of February 2025 to the 13th of May 2025. The cycle covers 236 projects and involves projects from all ministries and rural infrastructure development agencies. Of the total, 33 projects are being implemented countrywide, whilst a total of 10 projects will be implemented outside Zimbabwe. Some of the projects are replicated in more than one province as follows. Bulawayo Metropolitan Province, 15 projects. Harare Metropolitan Province, 48 projects. Mashonaland Central Province, 23 projects. Mashonaland East Province, 23 projects. Mashonaland West Province, 28 projects. Mashingo Province, 21 projects. Manicaland Province, 22 projects. Midlands Province, 30 projects. Matabeleland North Province, 47 projects. Matabeleland South Province, 24 projects. The nation is advised that the projects were selected according to their potential contribution to the aspirations of Vision 2030, focusing primarily on the improvement of livelihoods of citizens in all communities. 25 projects are being implemented under the devolution and decentralization thematic area. 11 projects contribute to the Binga Development Initiative, and these cover construction of new health facilities as well. Additionally, 62 projects across selected 14 ministries, departments, and agencies are identifiable to the 21st National People's Conference resolutions. In order to strengthen internal monitoring by the respective ministries, a regular tracking schedule will be utilized, whilst the progress as a Day 50 will be publicized as per standing practice. Site visits to selected projects will be conducted in order to validate progress across the country. Cabinet considered and approved the implementation of the Presidential Solarization Program in terms of the report, which was presented by the Minister of State for National Security, Honorable Lavmo Matuke. The following the approval of the implementation plan for the Presidential Solarization Program in December 2024, significant milestones have been made towards the provision of solar power to 200,000 households. Guidelines for the implementation of the program have been established, with stakeholder mapping and identification of beneficiaries in villages across the 8 rural provinces. Community mobilization and awareness processes spearheaded by the Ministers of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution have also been finalized. Graduates from the Youth Service in Zimbabwe, with assistance from experts from the Harare Institute of Technology and the Rural Electrification Agency will install a total of 200,000 solar kits to the identified households. His Excellency the President, Dr. Edin Mnangagwa, will launch the Presidential Solarization Program to mark the official commencement of the first year in terms of the program. Cabinet considered and approved the MOU between the Republic of Zimbabwe and the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria on cooperation in the field of tourism, which was presented by the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Ziambi Ziambi. The major objectives of the MOU are to strengthen the friendly relations and mutual understanding between Zimbabwe and Algeria in the field of tourism, to provide a broad framework that will guide working relations for the development and promotion of tourism for both countries, to enhance cooperation in the exchange of expertise, research and best practices in tourism development, and to promote joint tourism initiatives and investments between the Republic of Zimbabwe and the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. Cabinet received and approved the SADC cluster meeting of ministers responsible for transport, information, communication technology, information and metrology report as presented by the Minister of Transport and Infrastructural Development, Honorable Felix Mona. The SADC cluster meeting of ministers of transport, information and communication technology, information and metrology met in Harare on the 28th of February 2025 to review sectoral progress achieved since the last meetings held in June 2023 and August 2024. During the SADC Summit of Heads of State and the SADC Council of Ministers, notable achievements include the signing of the MOU establishing the North-South Corridor and the agreement on the Beira Development Corridor, which comprises the Democratic Republic of Congo, Malawi, Mozambique, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. The North-South Corridor comprises Botswana, DRC, Malawi, Mozambique, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. The short and medium-term preliminary measures drawn from the cluster meetings are as follows: strengthening legal and institutional framework on the infrastructural development, trade and industrialization strategy, implementation of trade and industrialization strategy, rebalancing of rail, enhancing regional collaboration in order to increase geographical diversity, designing alternate ICT optical fiber cable infrastructure owned by utility companies, the approval of electronic communications equipment in SADC, and enhancing access to smartphones or internet-enabled devices in the SADC region. Cabinet received and approved the learning visit to China report as presented by the Minister of Environment, Climate and Wildlife, Honorable Dr. Stembiso Nyoni. The Minister of Environment, Climate and Wildlife visited the People's Republic of China from the 23rd to the 28th of February 2025. The visit was aimed at strengthening bilateral relations with China on environmental policy in general, and to specifically share mutual experiences on the hosting of high-level events like the Conference of Parties to the Convention on Wetlands, which will be held from the 23rd to the 31st of July 2025 in Victoria Falls. China hosted COP14. The outcomes of the visit include a raft of measures instituted by government aimed at strengthening preparations for hosting the COP15 15 in Victoria Falls, which is now in full swing. An interministerial committee has already been put in place in order to spearhead the preparations. I think.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for presenting today's cabinet highlights. Let me now invite colleagues for any questions. We have 3 questions. We will ask Honorable Ministers to respond, and we have the last round of 2 questions, and the respective ministers will also respond. Thank you very much. Questions? Yes.
Thank you very much, Chief Secretary. My name is Romeda Moore from Maryland. My question is direct to the Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Professor Fumi, in respect of NDS 2. My question is, what lessons have you learned from NDS 1 that you will be taking into NDS 2? In other words, how different will NDS 2 be from NDS 1? Content that we are still grappling with the same challenges like economic exchange rates, current volatility, and inflation. I think.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. My name is Mugude Chiwe from the Herald. My question is again directed to the Minister of Finance relating to the NDSs. What specific outcomes from the NDS 1 do you consider the most successful, and which areas fell short of expectations?
Thank you very much. Any other question? Over to you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. Both questions are to the Minister of Finance and Economic Development and Investment Promotion. From Ramaida and Mukudze, what lessons have we learned in terms of the success of the first National Development Strategy, in terms of exchange rates, inflation, and many other things? And also, what do we consider as the most successful pillar in terms of priority? Over to you, Prof. Muro.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you for the question from Harold in terms of lessons learned from NDS 1 that will carry over into NDS 2. I think a very important lesson we've learned from NDS 1, which will carry over into NDS 2, is that we need a whole of government approach in attacking some of these pillars and strategies within NDS 2, which we try to do under NDS 1. But this has to continue. We have to even be better at it and make sure that we do away with the silos that may creep in from time to time, to make sure that we can all work together to deliver on the goal of achieving an upper middle income society by year 2030. So a whole of government approach. The other lesson is that it's important to measure results. We've been doing performance evaluation of NDS 1 on a quarterly basis, and we are going to do a full review for the NDS 1 during the month of April to June, because we need, although we don't have completed the 5 years, there will be enough information which we need to then fine-tune NDS 2 to see where the gaps are. So performance evaluation or results measurement approach is very, very critical. This is the first time that we've undertaken results measurement, because we have a very clear metric in terms of targets. So it's very easy to measure results, and that's a lesson that we're going to carry forward. The other lesson that we're going to carry forward is just process and management and rollout of NDS 2 going forward. We feel that we need to do more in engaging the citizens. to the various corners of the country, various provinces, having a conversation with our citizens, what they have a say in terms of which areas we need to fine-tune. So these are three things that I think are critical in terms of the success and impact of our MDS tool going forward. Maybe there's another issue, which is also very unique, which we have to carry forward, which is that our budgets on an annual basis have to speak to NDS too. So we'll make sure that even for 2026 budget, we're able to put it together using some of the initial information and thrust of NDS2, but on an annual basis, we want to make sure that there's alignment between the budgetary process and the strategy, which is NDS2. So four things that we will certainly carry forward. In terms of which pillars we've been most successful, as I said, we're going to do an evaluation of results, last measurement, between the month of next month to June, so we'll be able to give you a fuller answer going forward. But on a cursory note, let me say that I think it's true to say, colleagues, we've done a lot as a government in the area of infrastructure development, particularly on roads, transportation infrastructure, and also in the construction of various dams in terms of the impounding water. But then going forward, we'll accelerate the process of decanting this water onto the fields, which is investment in irrigation infrastructure. I think the whole infrastructure space has been one way we can say we've really done very well. Within Harare, in terms of roads, and across the country, we just the by-bridge to Harare and then Chirundu road. And we will continue going forward. I think also it's fair to say in the area of power production, in the subsector of infrastructure, again, the coming in of 1K 7 and 8, the unleashing of the incentives for attracting independent power producers, the IPPs, they've all gone a long way in attracting investment into the power sector. I really want to say that perhaps this is also one area where we've made quite a bit of progress and added at least 600 megawatts from 7 and 8 in addition to solar investments. I think also we've made progress in the area of beneficiation, although we want to do more in NTS too. Think about it, the whole steel sector has been reignited with the investment in the Malaysia investment from Tsingshan from China. Will now become a significant player in the steel sector in the region, which is an integrated steel facility with the ore sitting right next to the processing plant or the manufacturing plant for steel. And then we have pockets of other beneficiation initiatives. If we look at lithium, we've mandated lithium producers to now beneficiate up to the level of lithium sulfate. This is by law. So we want to accelerate the beneficiation and value addition agenda, but it has started off well. Colleagues, it's fair to say that we've done a tremendous job in the area of food security. With the launch of the Food and Infrastructure Program, we've been able to really make a lot of progress in terms of proofing our agriculture for our various corners of society. And then the success in wheat production, where we're now self-sufficient, we're able to grow enough to feed ourselves and even begin to export. Surely that is a serious area of success. Just this year alone, we expect to have a record crop in terms of quality for tobacco, where we've seen the transformation of that sector, which was dominated by large-scale farmers, to now small-scale farmers who are able to outstrip the performance of the prior year or yesteryear large commercial farmers. I could go on and on. There are clear areas of success that I can point to already, but please be patient, wait for the evaluation that will take place between April and June. So beginning of July, we should be able to share that with you, then stretching out as an input into our NDS2, which is our expectation that should be able to complete Thursday of November. So that's the sequence of events. I thank you. So I think I've covered both the questions from Murira and Chimwere. I thank you very much.
Yeah. Over to you, Chief.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for responding to those questions. Any further questions? Yes.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. My name is Nancy Maida from ZTN Prime. My questions are directed to the Minister of Agriculture. How much of an impact will this armyworm outbreak have on this season's crop? And also, which provinces have been mostly affected by this outbreak? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further questions? Yes, second right.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. The question that I want to ask, maybe it was discussed in cabinet, but the Chief Secretary will agree with me that it's of national importance. The question is directed to Minister of Transport. Minister, I understand work has begun on the Kadoma Sanat Nembudia Road project. Can you provide an update on whether the entire 150-kilometer stretch will be completed in time for the independence celebrations? And will it be fully tarred upon completion?
Thank you very much. I don't know whether I agree or okay, any further questions? Any further questions? Minister, over to you.
Okay. I will first address Chingwe. Comrade Chingwe, it's very important that each and every journalist gets to appreciate that this is a post-cabinet briefing session and that we only respond to issues that have been discussed on that particular day. So you should be able, you have capacity to be able to visit the Honorable Minister of Transport and to discuss any of your issues. But it seems like all journalists seem to have wanted this particular question to be responded to. So I will allow this for the first and last time coming from you. But I will deal first with the Honorable Minister of Lands Agriculture to respond to the army when impact. Then we'll then move to Honorable Mwana. But this is the first and last time. We don't want such questions coming outside the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and I thank the journalist from ZTN for the very relevant question. The African armyworm, Spodoptera exempta, is being reported from all the 10 provinces of the country. So that's on the incidence part. And you want to know the severity. At the moment, we are mired in controlling wherever it occurs while compiling data on the severity and the extent of the damage, and which data will be availed with the second round of crops, livestock, and fisheries assessment in April. But let me take this opportunity, of course, to say that this African armyworm is brought in by winds from Tanzania, Mozambique, so it's wind-borne as a moth. So we have 214 sites across the country where we have set traps. Moths are attracted to yellow, so we set traps, and every 3 days we go in and count the number of moths that are caught in this trap. When the threshold of 15 moths is reached, it means it's a reaction time, because we know that in a defined period, and you know from our Form 3 biology, it is moth, egg, larva, pupa, and moth, that cycle. We know that very soon it will be an egg, and then it will be a larva, and the caterpillar larva stage is the destructive stage that we see all the time. And African armyworm, because it moves like an army, because as the winds come, then they fall onto this distinct place, and they hedge, and they start spreading. So now all the 60 districts have now received a new truck in the past week to be able to carry chemical. We put chemical in all the 60 districts. Fortunately, it's a very common chemical, Cabarel 85 WAP, which anyone can purchase off the shelf to react to this. So what we want is, for now, the surveillance to be heightened so that villagers, anyone who sees this pest is able to report, that Agri-Tex officers on the ground are also able to respond, that the surveillance monitors are able to be more diligent in terms of reporting. When we do this, we will be able to surmount. This armyworm will be with us, no doubt, for a very long time to come. Our preparedness in terms of detection will deter this. While I'm at this, let me also just highlight the cousin to this pest called fall armyworm, Spodoptera frugipeda. So this fall armyworm is an imported pest. It was first detected in Zimbabwe in 2016 on a farm in Matuel in South, now spread to all the 10 provinces again. And again, the same surveillance that we put in place must be observed. The chairman of the post-cabinet session highlighted that we've distributed over 600,000 knapsack sprayers to the 3.5 million beneficiaries. So almost 1 in 6 of these beneficiaries has a knapsack sprayer, which means they are able to respond to these pests. We also distribute a chemical, Demis 40, with the presidential input scheme, which enables the communities to respond. But it takes all of us. It takes the whole sector. Government has done the facilitation, has provided additional resources, but it takes the farmer and every one of us to be able to respond to ensure that the damage that these devouring and devastating, debilitating pests cause in our fields, we will avail the severity and the extent of the area that has been devoured by these pests as we do the second round of crops, livestock, and fisheries assessment, which is more quantitative in terms of production. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Masuka. Since we were in the last part, I don't know if you want Comrade Mona to come sit here so that you don't have to move the microphone. Alright, we can move your gadgets closer to you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, listening Chair, for indulging Brother Mkudzei. I thought you was going to talk of Vic Falls, not Golden Valley. But anyway, thank you so much. It will also give me an opportunity to articulate and share with the people of Zimbabwe that under the wise leadership of His Excellency, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, there is no one and no place that is going to be left behind. And we are so happy that we are having our celebrations, the 45th celebrations in Gokwen. And besides that, we started this project, which is also the shortest road that links Marsh West and Midlands. And we are happy that before we started, it was also very topical. And as we speak, the contractor is on site, working on the 20-kilometer stretch. And we're going to apply asphalt overlay on that particular, rehabilitate, do the asphalt overlay, reconstruct the road. And we are going towards Nembozia. And I'm sure during the December holiday, when you are going to your rural home, Mkudzei, you enjoy using the stretch of this road. And it is important that we must highlight this to the people of Zimbabwe, that under very difficult circumstances, we are actually making sure that we attend to our roads. And I want to thank my colleague Minister of Finance, working closely with Zinara, that we will not stop attending to these very emotional roads, and in particular the Golden Valley Sanyati Road. So to answer your question, Brother Mkudzei, yes, we are going to Nembuzia, the entire road, we are going to tie it, but of now we are working on the 20-kilometer stretch, which we think and which we are sure that by the time we go for our independence, we'll be done with that. And we'll make sure that the remaining part is trafficable, but we'll continue with the reconstruction of the road up to Nembuzia. Thank you so much.